Hey, so in this video, we'll be making a UI which looks like this, okay? Similar to that. Now where this came from is, it came from this case study over here, okay? And yeah, I want to keep it straight to the point, but yeah, we'll be doing this page here without the bottom navigation, okay? We won't be doing the others in this video, okay? And yeah, let me just mention that after you create your project, right, I'll need you to head over to your pubspec.yaml file, and while you're in here, you'll need to head over here and declare the assets folder. Now the assets folder is where you'll be keeping images and stuff like that, okay? Or it's at least where I have my images. So we are not linking this up to the backend yet, or at least in this video, okay? And also I should mention this video is aimed more towards people who are new with Flutter, who are new to Flutter, okay? So after I've declared the assets folder, you'll need to go over and set the San Francisco font over here, so such as what I've done there. And where this font is, it's in the assets folder, and here it is. So over there, right? Cool. Okay, now we can head over to our app. Okay, now I've already written out just some boilerplate stuff here, but then I've essentially set the primary color and just the colors, and also the brightness to dark. So the brightness to dark. The reason I've done that is to make our font color white by default. Okay, because if you look at this, dark text won't be visible on here. Okay, and also I have declared the font family here. Yeah, the San Francisco font. Okay, and what was the scaffold background color? So you can see over here on the left, it's the background color of the app, essentially of our scaffold, right? Okay, so right now, yeah, I think we can get started. But before that, let's just check out our screen here, or our UI here. So what we can tell from here is that, okay, it's going from top to bottom, right? So it's essentially a column. Our whole screen, entire screen, is a column, okay? And we can tell that, okay, it's sort of scrollable, okay? Cool. And also what we can tell here is that there's some spacing here to the left. And also over on this side, there's some spacing here to the right side, okay? But that spacing does not apply to the things here which scroll, to the horizontal scrolling thingies, to the list views here, okay? Right, yeah, let's get started with this photo over here, okay? And what I'll do, I don't want mine to be super square. I would want it more to be squarish. I don't know, I'm gonna follow my own rules a bit here. But yeah, we can get started with creating a stateless widget, okay? And let's just call it homepage. Homepage, and let's call our homepage there, okay? And return a scaffold in here, okay? Body, so again it's a column, okay? And in here we can set our image, right? But then since I want this image to be a bit round, I'll go ahead and set it, use a circle avatar, okay? Background image, and this takes in an asset image, okay? And then the path over there. Now if we're getting this image perhaps from the internet, then of course it will be a network image, okay, if you had to use a link. But I'll be using the asset image because the picture I want to use is this one over here, me.jpg, okay? Right, so we'll set assets, me, okay? And let's just give it a radius of 45, I don't know what's the unit here, but 45, okay? So there we are. We have our photo over there in the right corner. So now we want it over here to the right side. How do we do that? Well, we could essentially wrap our circle avatar in a row, okay, and set the main axis alignment of the column to the end. And if you see that, it's over to the right side, okay? But now again, we can see that there's some spacing between the image or the content itself and the side of the phone or the edge, right? So we'll go ahead and wrap it in, let's just wrap it in a padding. I want to give it a margin, not padding. So okay, so a padding of 15 pixels to the right, or a margin of 15 pixels to the right, okay? And now we can see that our image is in our status area. So to get ready to fix that, let's simply wrap our column in a widget called the safe area, okay? There we go, fixed. Okay, good. Right, and that's essentially this part done. Now let's get head over to the second part, which is this thing right here, okay? So next up is the text widget called upcoming. Okay, so it's over at the center, and yeah, I don't want it to be in the center. I want it to be on the left side, or everything really to be starting on the left side, not the center. So I'll go over here to the column, to the top level column, and set its cross axis alignment. Okay, cross axis alignment dot start. Right, so the cross axis alignment in a column, this is its x axis, okay, and the main axis is the y axis in a column, okay, but on a row it's the opposite. Okay, you can rewind and yeah, listen to that again. Right, so let's reload this, and it's over to the left. Now our text is a bit too small, so let's give it a better text, bigger font size. 30. Nah, 30 looks fine. Why not? Okay, cool. And now also let's give it some margin to the left, to the left, to the left. Damn it. Okay, good. There we go. Does that look big? It sure does. Should we reduce it? Nah. Let's leave it. And also let's make this bold. Pretty bold. Right. Okay, that's that done. Now, the next part will be this container over here. What's the time? Will be this thing right here. This card, if you can say, custom card. Okay. And yeah, so these things will be scrolling, right? But before we do the scrolling part, I would first want to build it out. Okay, let's build it out first. Height 10. I just want to add some spacing to the top there. It looks too tight. Okay, much better. Maybe more. Okay. Okay, so now we need to make our card, and let's set the cross-axis alignment to start to the left. And in here, all we have is an asset really. So we should see this picture here. Okay. There we go. Alright. And now let's just set the texts here. So it's the location and the event name. Okay. Okay. Let's reload this, and right, there we go. Let's set the styles on our text, okay? And let's just set the font size on them to perhaps 25 on that. And for the location, we'll want to set it over to 18 and we would want to set the font color of it. So the color of it, let's set it to gray. Okay, it's coming together, no worries. Okay, now our picture over here has some curve to it. Okay, so for us to give it some curve, we will need to wrap it in a container, I would assume. No, let's just wrap it in, because it's only the radius we want to affect of it. We would want to give it a border radius. Okay, and the easiest way to do that is by wrapping it in a clip art. Okay, border radius, circular, let's just give it a border radius of 10. Not bad. Okay, now this looks a bit too huge, right? It's humongous. So let's give it let's wrap the image. I just think it's too large, so I'll want to reduce its width. So I'll probably wrap the column in a sized box. Okay, and then just give it a fixed width of maybe 300 pixels. Okay, looking good. Right, let's give it some space. Let's add some spacing here. 10. Okay, I use a size box when you just want to give. You do this if you want just some spacing, really. Okay, you could use a container, but then apparently that uses up more resources. Okay, cool. Now, okay, and yeah, we can now go ahead and just put this in a list view, really. Create multiple of this and put them in a list view builder, if that even makes sense. Yeah, I don't know. Let's just do that. So I'll cut it, and let's just create a list view here. List view builder. A list view builder takes in okay, scroll direction. We want this. Okay, and also it takes in a what? Item builder. Item builder is context and an index. Context and an index, and we just want to return that. That. Okay, and also the item count, let's just say 5 for now. Okay, let's go ahead and save this, and it doesn't show anything really. Let's check out our console here. Yeah, essentially it's complaining about this size thingy because we didn't give it a height. Okay, we didn't wrap our list view in the height. Okay, because essentially it's assuming that we'll give it infinite height, I would assume, and that just fails. I don't know, man. But essentially just wrap it in a size box and give it some sort of predefined height. So in this case I'll use 240 pixels because I've used that before, I think. And let's just check how long that is by giving it a color. And okay, that's reasonable, I can say. It's a fine size, maybe 235. Yeah, we can give it that height. 230. Okay, cool. But yeah, it's scrolling now, and yeah, all is well. Okay, now we'll want to give it some margin to the right. Okay, to the left then, to the left of our containers here, of our things here. Okay, and the way we'll do that, we can change this into a container and give it some margin. Okay, there we go. It's now all aligned, same as in here. Okay, cool. Now, before we proceed further, I would want to create a model for this data here that we'll be using. Okay, so a model is sort of something which will represent some sort of thing, right? So we will want to represent this event here, okay, in something called an event model. So if you just go over there, create a new file and create an event model dot, okay, and then just create a class here. Or I think they are called the data classes, okay, event model, if you are coming from some other language. So let's just give this some values, okay, name, okay, and there we have our event model, right? So now we'll want to create dummy data. So let's just create dummy data thingy here, okay, and in here we'll have a list of event model upcoming events. Okay, so we'll just have 2 here for now. Okay, now we'll want to hook this up to our list view over here, and the way we will do that is by, first of all, heading over to the item count and changing this to the upcoming events dot length. Okay, and also we'll then want to come here and do final. Our event will then be from the upcoming events at this index. We would have our event here, so we can even do event model. Okay, we'll have our event there, and let's just go ahead and set the values. Let's reload this, and there we go. We have our image over there. So let me recap here real quick what we did. We created the list view and then wrapped it in a size box. And the reason we did that is that if we don't give it a certain height, a predefined height, then the list view won't build out its widget. Okay, and yeah, essentially we'll then go on ahead and created then a data class here for our event. Okay, so something which will represent the event. Okay, and then we've gone ahead and just created a list of events, of upcoming events. Okay, just dummy data really at this point. And then to hook it up with our list view, what we have done is we've come here and set the item count to the size or the length of that list, and also we've created the event in here, or we have extracted the event at this certain index as we are looping through it. Okay, and we have just gone ahead and set the image, the name, and the location of this event that we are at the moment. We can now go ahead and create this divider line here, the divider. Okay, and where is it? So there it is. And yeah, let's just wrap it in a container, and let's give this container a margin, symmetric in this case, because we just want to set a value once and then it applies on both sides. Okay, there, and we'll then go ahead and set its color and also its width or height. Wait, thickness, thick. Okay, there we go, much better. Next up is the special for you tab. Okay, and for this, all we'll really do is go ahead and copy this part we have done at the top there and paste it there. For you, there it is, space. Okay, why not? Okay, and essentially all we'll do here is gracefully copy this list view over there from there, and okay, maybe not just copy it, but essentially we'll want to create a special one which includes the price over here and also with a smaller card, really. Okay, but then after you get comfortable with this, you'll realize that you can get away with only creating a single widget of these cards, or even this one, really, a single one, and then just have some parameters in there that, yo, if this parameter called special for you is true, then set the width of the cards to whatsoever width, and also include this pricing widget over there. Okay, so you can also do that, but then for now we're just trying to get this out here, and yeah, some optimizations can come later on, but for now we'll create a separate widget for this special for you part card here. Okay, we have our card there. Okay, so now let's just make it suit this use case here. Let's set the width to, let's set some spacing at the top there. Just give it some space to breathe. Okay, cool. And yeah, that should be it almost, but then now we'll want to go ahead and give this add this widget over here, the pricing one. Okay, and for that let's just wrap this image of ours in a stack. Wrap the image in a stack. Okay, and the image will be at the bottom and then this will be at the top. So we'll want the text widget which says the price here, so I just call it 500. Okay, there we have our text. It's in the top left corner now, and we'll want to set it to move it over to the right side, and the way we could do that is with the use of the positioned widget. Okay, and we could literally just set it, yo, from the right side I want you to be 5 pixels away from the right side. So now it will be 5 pixels away from here, so it will be there. And also from the top you can set it that, yo, from the top I want you to be 5 pixels away from the top, so that will be 5. Okay, and there we have it over there. But for you to see it, let's wrap our text widget in a container, and let's set the color. Wait, decoration, box decoration, and let's set the color to purple. Let's give it some padding, and now we'll want to give it some border radius. Hold on, 5 looks tinier. Now let's give it some border radius. Dot circular, set this to 15. Okay, that looks fine. And yeah, there we go. Cool. Next up would be to actually also create a list for this, for the things that we'll be iterating over. Okay, for the list view. And because we have already created an event model, we'll go ahead and reuse it for this part also over here. And yeah, just not to waste time, let me just copy the special events here. We'll call it special events. Whoa, okay. So now let's gracefully go ahead and cut or copy the list view from the previous part and just paste it in here. Okay, but then instead of returning that other container, we'll go ahead and return this for the special one. Okay, just do that, cut, remove this and paste that. Okay, now what if we save this? If you save it, oh wait, okay, if we save it so it's right now it's using the item count of the upcoming events. So what we want to do is set this to special events, and also here special events, and okay, and yeah, there we go. We have our special events over there, and let's just add some spacing to the bottom there. So right now it's 10, so let's set it to 15. Okay, much better. Okay, so scrolling is a bit funny on the simulator, but on the real device it should be smooth. Okay, and that's that. Okay, so now we would want to go ahead and move over to the next part, which is this part right here for the artists thingy. Okay, and we'll also be adding this shade to it. But yeah, let's just go ahead and do artists on tour. Gracefully copy this. Now you can see some repetition here. So we have done it there, and we have also done it there. So essentially what we could do is set this is to create a separate widget for these things right here, so we don't keep rewriting it. Okay, essentially only this part, because then we might want to keep adjusting these heights for each. We might, but why not? Let's just create a separate widget for this thing right here. Let's create a stateless widget, and let's just call it custom title. Okay, and this will return a column, because essentially they are going from top to bottom, right? And this column will have this, and here let's just give it this will be title. And where does this title come from? Well, final string title is there, right? So now we'll need to create a constructor here, construct title, and there we go. Okay, so now we can essentially just do this, paste it there, and there we have it. Okay, now we'll simply go ahead and replicate this for the others. Duplicate. Upcoming. Okay, cool. Not much change on the UI, or none at all, but it will help us out as developers. Okay, cool. Next thing will be the artist card. So essentially all we have here is an image, and this image below it we have the text or the name of the artist. Okay, so we have Martin Garrix text. Okay, and yeah, for some reason it's not building out. Let's see why it's not building out. Oh, the path. Here it said assets. Okay, cool. And yeah, this thing has overflown now. Okay, and essentially what we can do is wrap it in make it a what? Scrollable widget. So single child scroll view. Okay, and now we can scroll this. Okay, now we'll set our column. We want the name to be on the left side, so let's also make it the text a bit larger. Now our image is a bit too huge, so let's reduce it. That looks fine. And let's set, do we need to set the height? Let's not set it now. Okay, and then let's set the fit. So essentially we want our image to expand to fill up the entire space, but then now we didn't specify a height here. We'll probably specify one after we set this. Okay, let's just quickly wrap this in a list view, in a list view builder. Okay, so list view builder. Then that, and what else do we need to specify in here? Okay, and if we save this, of course it doesn't render out. We need to give it a certain height. Let's set the axis. Axis dot horizontal. Okay, cool. Let's give our container the margin to the left of 15 pixels. Okay, there we have it. Okay, cool. Now what I've realized is if we use a different picture here, for instance the island picture, and hot reload, you can see that this one has a smaller height. Okay, and this won't look fine on they won't look the same size essentially. So what we could do is force it to have a certain height, a fixed height. So let's just say 200. Yeah, we can force it to have that height essentially. Okay, and you might have to mess around with these sizes, values, depending on your phone. Okay, and also these images have a border radius, so you can go ahead and copy from the others. Wait, where is it? Here we go. So let's just wrap this in a clip arret. Okay, good. And let's get rid of the green. Quick edit. I forgot to mention this, but then click on the image and head over to the bulb and wrap it. You'd want to change this to a stack. Okay, and then below the image you'll want to put this. Okay, now what this is essentially a container which will act as a mask. So if you remember from the design, we had that pinkish look, gradient look to it. Okay, and then in this container we set its dimensions to fit that of the image, right? And essentially we give, in the decoration of this container, we give it a gradient, and we want it to start from the top left to the bottom right. Okay, and essentially we want the colors to be from pink to deep purple. Right, now reason I've given it this with alpha is that if this number right here, it sort of determines the transparency of the color, or how opaque it is or transparent it is, one of those two, right? So the higher this number is, so maybe let's put this to 255, right? So it is more opaque, right? You can't really see through it. So which is why I just set it to 110. Cool. Right, and that should be mostly it. Okay, but then now we need to link this up to some data source. Okay, and for that we can go ahead and create another model here, the artist model. Our artist has a name, right? So they have a name and an image. Okay, the reason I'm wrapping it in these curly braces is that it will allow us to create our instance, our object, by passing in the names like this. Okay, if we don't, then it will be specific to that position, right? So it means that in the 0th index you must put the name, in the second one you must put the image. Okay, something like that. Okay, now let's go ahead and create some dummy artist data. Alright, so we have created our data source over here. Okay, so right now we are not linking it up to Firestore, but right now we're using local data, and here's our list of artists who are on tour. Okay, so now we have to link this up to this list view over here. Okay, and for that, let's get the item count of artists on tour dot length. Okay, and artist model, our artist would be the one in this index. Okay, and let's just set these values here, and there we have it, lads. Yeah, okay, let's add some spacing here. Yeah, boom, there we have it. Okay, the spacing between here, these two, seems a bit too much. This one is too large, so let's just reduce this to maybe, okay, cool. Now, for the final touches to it, right? What we'll go ahead and do is remove this debug banner, okay, false. But really, the final thing I want to mention is that if you look in our design here, UI, is that the status bar color is white, and then if you look at ours, it's dark, right? Now, how do we make it light? Well, a way to do that is by making use of the app bar. Okay, and then just set its brightness to brightness.dark. Okay, now you see here we have this. The downside of this is we have this unused app bar here. Okay, so this one is not really useful to us. Now, how would we actually get it? Okay, it's set to it, but darn it, images. Okay, that's not working. Let me run it again. Now, how do we make it actually white? Well, okay, open that link up and come over here. So essentially all we do in here, as this person suggests, is to wrap our entire thing in this. Okay, so to wrap our body in this thing here, and let's just do the import. So it imports services there. Okay, and the final one would be the value, the set value. Okay, now light, this is intended for applications with a dark background. Okay, so this is what we want here. So let's hot reload, hot restart, hot reload, and there we have set it to light. Right, yeah, that should be it. Let me know if you have any suggestions as to what to do next. And yeah, hopefully this video helps you out. Cheers.